We're here with Katie Paine at DHCX 2013 in Orlando. Katie is the Chief Marketing Officer for News Group, and she was part of the plenary session this morning talking about metrics. And I wanted to get Katie to talk to us for just a couple minutes about metrics from probably a little different angle. Now, if I'm a public health researcher with a PhD in epidemiology, I'm going to be all about the data. I'm going to be about analyzing and presenting my own data to my peers. And what I wanted to ask you is, what would you say to researchers to encourage them to be interested in the concept of measuring the impact of their data and their research in the real world as opposed to in the research world?
Well, I think first of all, if it depends what is motivating the researcher. And if the researcher is a researcher simply because he likes to accumulate data, then you have to look at, where does he get the money for the research and influence the money, follow the money. I also would like to think that a lot of researchers are doing things because they would like to cure something or fix something or whatever. And by nature of a data geek, myself being one of them, I'd like to know that has some impact. I know for me, from the data side of things, I could care less about an enormous Excel spreadsheet with data in it. What I want to see is that aha moment that comes to my client and says, oh, I'm going to change things as a result of the data. So, that's one way of approaching it. The other way of approaching it is to simply say, well, at some point, isn't there some accountability? You've gotten this grant, you've done all this research, has it made a difference?
Mm-hmm. Now, what's going to be the impact, do you think, in the future of foundations and grant-making agencies being specific about their wanting specific results?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that the foundation world has changed dramatically in the last 3 or 4 years, and I think partly as the influence of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They insist upon demonstrating results. They won't give you any more money if you don't demonstrate. You have to tie things, and I know that many foundations that I've gotten to know because of the book, Measuring the Network Nonprofit. The reason it was almost written, at least 50% of it is written for the funders, because they want answers, and frequently the people that they're funding, the grantees or the researchers or whatever, don't know how to get those answers, and so that's why we wrote the book. But since the book has come out and I've been talking to all these people, every single one of them that I've talked to has said, this is what we want. We want, for every dollar we spend, we need to know it has some impact, because ultimately I'm going to decide next year, did this dollar create more impact or did this dollar create more impact? And they're measuring stuff too, and they're going to say, let me think about this. This person over here changed 10 lives, and this person changed 150,000 lives. What am I going to do next? I mean, I don't want to suggest that funders are looking at things like bean counters and accountants. But increasingly they are asking the people that they give money to, and they're actually providing some money. Not all of them, but some of them are starting to provide small grants to organizations, particularly nonprofit organizations, that want to measure their success, want to measure their results, but may not know how or may not have the tools to do that. And now they're starting to provide some of that. This organization I met last week, Fledgling Foundation, is now providing small grants for research projects to measure the impact of what people are doing.
So the Gates Foundation may have been an outlier 3 or 4 years ago, but now this is the accepted practice.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that every foundation, first of all, remember that there's a huge migration out of the private sector. I mean, out of the sort of corporate world into the nonprofit world. Many of my friends have decided, heck with the corporate world, I want to go save the world and do something meaningful, and so therefore I'm going to the nonprofit world. Well, those people are used to being able to measure their results and being expected to measure their results, and they having the tools to measure their results. And so they're putting demands on everybody to say, I want more accountability and I want to see results. And in their head, those results look like, Excel spreadsheets and charts and graphs and, data, but not random data, but really meaningful data. And I think that that's somewhat of a function of the recession, but it's also a function of social media and big data, where everybody sort of assumes that you can measure everything. I think that's a common assumption, which is, oh, now everybody's got all the data in the world, we can measure everything. Well, no, you can't. Obviously, as Valdez Krebs says, you can do it, but you got to make sure that the data is the right data. You have to make sure that the data is accurate and relevant. But again, your researchers that are doing these things, they know what the data is. They're closest to it, and they know that it's right. They should be able to figure out whether it's having any impact out there in society.
And it's going to be something that they're going to have to pay attention to moving forward. Yeah,
there's no doubt that they're going to have to pay attention to that. You can't just do research for the sake of research anymore.
Right. Okay, well, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you. I can't wait to go put my flip-flops on.